Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's top stories. Many business owners in Oakland said they're fed up with the crime. They're now demanding more action from city officials to combat the rising levels of theft and violence. Two teens accused of killing a former police chief now face additional charges. They're being tried as adults for attempted murder. The second GOP debate lineup has been set. Candidates are set to go head-to-head in Southern California. Over 200 businesses pledged to take part in a citywide strike, protesting Oakland's spike in crime. Their goal is to send a clear message to City Hall. NTD's David Lam has the story.
I'm here in Oakland, and today, many business owners went on strike to call for more police officers and support from the city in order to keep their businesses running and for the community to thrive. Business owners rallied in Oakland Tuesday morning to express their frustration with the city's growing theft and violent crime. Many say the current situation has forced small businesses to close their doors.
People don't feel safe.
Carl Chan, president of Oakland Chinatown's Chamber of Commerce, said he called for the strike to demand more action and resources from city leaders.
We want to make sure that there will be direct resources supporting businesses, and definitely want to cut down the crime rate. And also we are asking for public safety measures from all different government levels, city, county, state, and federal governments.
According to reports from Oakland police, the city has seen a 21% increase in violent crime between 2022 to 2023. On top of that, the city just missed out on millions in grants to help fight retail crime. State officials say the city missed the application deadline earlier this month.
I want the federal agents and federal government to be at the same table, because they're the ones that provide you billions of dollars. But that's the irony. They're all sitting right there, and we can't seem to work together.
The rally was held at Le Cheval, a 38-year-old Vietnamese restaurant that's closing at the end of this month due to increasing crime in the neighborhood. The strike lasted roughly 2 hours from 10 a.m. to noon and was symbolic.
We just don't have enough police officers. Right now, Oakland has about 713 police officers. According to the FBI statistics, they should have a minimum of 1,000.
They're coming in robbing, they get children to come in and do it. I don't really blame the police officers for not wanting to come to a situation where it's loaded with robbers, because it's a bloodbath. They don't have enough protection, enough help.
The city and government are expected to meet next week to discuss a plan of action. The city of Oakland tells NTD in a statement that they're working to, quote, strengthen community safety, and in the coming weeks will disperse grants for community ambassadors, safety programs, and small business assistance. Reporting in Oakland, California, David Lam, NTD News.
The two teenagers accused of killing a former police chief in a hit-and-run were given additional criminal charges. Both have been arrested and will be held as adults. NTD's Eileen Ang has the latest.
Prosecutors filed additional criminal charges Monday against two teenagers for the alleged intentional hit-and-run that killed a cyclist on a Las Vegas road. Both suspects are being held as adults for the video recording of the killing. The teens, ages 18 and 16, are due in court on Tuesday following what police say were at least 3 hit-and-run incidents the morning of August 14th. This included the apparently intentional crash that killed 64-year-old cyclist Andreas or Andy Probst. Probst retired in 2009 as police chief in the Los Angeles area city of Bell.
Two juveniles joyriding in a car intentionally hitting and killing an innocent man who was riding a bicycle and leaving him for dead along the side of a road.
Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson said he filed 5 felony and 2 misdemeanor charges against the 18-year-old, including attempted murder, battery with a weapon, leaving the scene of a crash, and possession of a stolen vehicle. He was 17 when he was arrested last month. A battery with a weapon charge was added to the murder and attempted murder counts against the 16-year-old. Probst's daughter also spoke at the press conference last week.
We are devastated by the senseless murder of Andy. Andy's life was robbed by 2 individuals who did not believe that lives of others matter. We believe that Andy's murder is a direct result of society's decayed family values and the strong effects that social media has on our youth. We as a family in no way feel that Andy's murder was based on race or profession. It was a random act of violence. We ask you to not politicize or use Andy's murder to fuel political agendas or to create cultural wars.
The teens cannot face the death penalty. Under Nevada law, if they are convicted in adult court of murder committed before they were 18, the most severe sentence they can receive is 20 years to life in state prison. According to police, the teenagers were in a stolen Hyundai sedan that first struck a 72-year-old bicyclist, drove away, crashed into a Toyota Corolla, and then drove away before striking Probst. The video, shot from the front passenger seat, recorded the teens talking and laughing as the vehicle steers toward Probst and hits the bicycle from behind. Probst's body slams onto the hood and windshield before a final image shows him on the ground next to the curb. The 18-year-old was arrested that day. The 16-year-old was arrested last week after police said they became aware of the video circulating at a high school and announced their search for the person who recorded it.
California Governor Gavin Newsom announces a ban on book bans. He signed legislation Monday evening that puts restriction on local school boards from overruling the state's education curriculum. NTD's Jason Blair has the details.
Newsom signed AB 1078 on Monday, which bans any restriction of educational material or curriculum with, quote, inclusive and diverse perspectives. Now, California school boards will need approval from the State Board of Education before taking any restrictive action.
Ban on book bans here in the state. This is long overdue.
AB 1078 was authored by Assembly member Dr. Corey Jackson, who accompanied Newsom when he signed the bill.
The responsibility of every generation to making sure that the rights go on for the next generation to be able to enjoy.
Critics argue that the bill will take away authority from local school boards, thereby ignoring parents and local communities. Many California parents and residents have been pushing school districts to restrict certain books over graphic sexual content.
I discovered books that targeted children, teaching them to question their sexual identity and even provide instructions on how to perform sex acts.
This seems more like promoting a lifestyle rather than simply providing information. Why are we even recommending books and resources about sexuality to young children? It doesn't even make sense.
Temecula Valley Unified School District voted in May to ban a book referencing former San Francisco official and LGBT activist Harvey Milk. They cited concerns over reports that Milk had a sexual relationship with a minor when he was 33. The district also faced a $1.5 million fine for not adopting the state's elementary school curriculum. In June, Illinois became the first state in the nation to adopt a similar policy involving public libraries, which goes into effect January of 2024. California's AB 1078 takes effect immediately. Jason Blair, NTD News, California.
The Republican National Committee announced the lineup for the second GOP debate, which will be held at the Ronald Reagan Library in Simi Valley, California. NTD's Daniel Monahan has more on which candidates made the cut.
To qualify for the second debate, candidates needed at least 3% support in 2 national polls or 3% in 1 national poll, as well as 2 polls from 4 of the early voting states: Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina. The White House hopefuls also needed at least 50,000 unique donors, with at least 200 of those coming from 20 states or territories. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, long seen as the top rival for Trump, will be on stage on Wednesday. DeSantis believes he is the candidate to take the battle to what he calls the radical left.
If you start getting in at the institutional level, where the left sees that they're losing control, they fight back, and they fight back hard. And you just got to have the spine to stand there.
But Republican support for the governor nationally has slipped since its high point earlier this year. Some of that drop could be due to the surge by political newcomer Vivek Ramaswamy, who has tied DeSantis in some polls and closed the gap in others. The entrepreneur has displayed a willingness to go toe-to-toe on whatever the topic, appearing on a slew of media channels, including liberal ones. Ramaswamy's surgeon wife Apoorva told ABC News that, as president, Her husband will give her children the society they'll want when they enter high school.
One where their actions are rewarded based on their merit.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley also made the cut. In contrast to some of her fellow Republican rivals, she supports continued significant military aid to Ukraine, fearing a domino effect if Ukraine falls.
If Russia takes Ukraine, then Poland and the Baltics are next, and then we are in war because those are NATO countries.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott is looking for a breakout moment in Wednesday's debate. Scott is calling for a 15-week national limit on abortion.
Our objective should be stopping states like California, New York, and Illinois of literally having abortion on demand up until the day of birth. That is immoral.
Other candidates include former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, former Vice President Mike Pence, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Burgum has been using his fortune to boost his donor total, giving away $20 Biden relief cards in exchange for $1 donations. A notable absent will be former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, who didn't qualify this time around. He'll be in Michigan on Wednesday holding a press conference his campaign describes as calling out Donald Trump's false promises. As for the former president Donald Trump, he'll be meeting with union workers in Michigan and will give a speech shortly before his rivals take the stage in California. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
We'll take a short break now, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. San Francisco continues to grapple with drug overdose deaths. Lawmakers are now trying to pass a bill to help address the issue. Uber plans to partner with taxis in Southern California. The goal is to help the industry recover from post-pandemic. Those stories and more coming up on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Zhang. Drug overdoses continue to trouble the city of San Francisco. Deaths from accidental overdoses saw an average of 5 deaths every 2 days during August. So lawmakers are trying to pass a bill to address the issue.
According to a report released by San Francisco County's chief medical examiner, the city recorded 84 deaths from accidental drug overdoses in San Francisco in August. Based on the September 18th report, among those who died, 79% tested positive for fentanyl and about 50% from methamphetamine or cocaine. In total, 563 people have died this year in the county due to accidental overdoses. The majority of those who died were males between the ages of 25 and 64. Mayor London Breed said, quote, "Addiction is so powerful, and it has gotten even more devastating with the rise of fentanyl." In response, the mayor has voiced her support for Senate Bill 43. The bill expands standards for detention and treatment for those with addictions. The bill has passed the California legislature and is waiting for Governor Gavin Newsom's signature. On the same day, the city released its latest overdose report. SF police reported that they had made 1,000 arrests for drug use and sales and seized over 158 pounds of drugs between May and September.
Brazen drug use in broad daylight and overdose deaths setting new records. We've seen them in our beloved metropolitan cities, and it seems to worsen. Our San Francisco-based reporter Jason Blair tells us more about the drug crisis in San Francisco. Here's the look at our conversation earlier in the day. Jason, thanks for joining us today. You have been reporting on crime and drugs from San Francisco for quite some time now. Could you please break down the situation in San Francisco for us? What are the levels of drug overdose?
Yeah, so drug overdose has been a hot topic lately, unfortunately. This past August, there has been 84 overdoses recorded, which is a record high, tying January this year for overdose deaths in the city. So far, 2023 is looking like it's going to be the deadliest year so far since records have been kept since 2020. 2020 had a pretty high rate of overdose deaths with about 720. And people are saying if things continue as they are now in 2023, it's going to get up into the 800s.
What are local residents saying about it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a horrible thing. Most people are seeing it more in their daily life out in the streets. There are a mixture of opinions about how to deal with it. Some people are on more of what they refer to as harm reduction, where they're actually handing out needles, clean supplies. There are people that walk around some of the troubled neighborhoods with Narcan to help reduce overdoses, to help reverse overdoses. And there's also been the controversial drug supervision sites where people actually supervise people using drugs to make sure they don't overdose. And then there's another side where they want to see these drug dealers held accountable. They want to see tougher action towards them. It seems like a lot of them aren't really getting arrested and going to jail. They want to see more police out in the street and around the neighborhoods, and really just get a little bit, tougher on the situation.
So why is the problem getting worse despite all the public and media attention that have been paid to this crisis?
Well, there's a number of different factors. I think just the amount of drugs, coming in is a factor. As we can trace it back to a lot of the fentanyl is being made in China, going through the cartels through Mexico. So it's just the factor of how much is actually coming into the city. Then there's the factor of how are the drug dealers being held accountable. There was recently a homicide charge where a dealer was charged with second-degree murder for giving a lethal dose to somebody, and they died as a result. So some people are mixed on how effective that's going to be in this situation. And then, and there's a number of other factors in place.
What are city officials and others doing to help?
Again, it goes back to the mixture of opinions. A lot of them want to take the more lenient approach. They want to support. They don't want to be too tough. On the drug dealers and on the people out in the street, and then other people they're kind of sick of it. They want more police. They want these people thrown in jail. And then there's a lot of people that just kind of are advocating for everything. We need a little bit of this and that. We need both. Some of the what the people call harm reduction area, and then there's also we need to get people in jail. We need to get people into rehab and support absence-based, rehabilitation programs. And for instance, Matt Dorsey, he's one of the supervisors here. He himself is fairly open about his past addiction issues, and so he advocates, for a good mixture of things to help deal with this issue. And mainly, they need to a lot of people are advocating that they need to work together and try to come up with, some solutions together.
Thank you, Jason. A thief strikes and unlocks the car at a gas station. He steals a purse and stole over $2,000 from the victim's Venmo account. NTD's Stephanie Sikal reports.
In a shocking turn of events, a routine stop at this El Monte gas station turned into a burglary. A surveillance camera captured footage of a burglar entering an unlocked vehicle belonging to a woman at an El Monte gas station. The thief then escaped with their purse, which contained her cell phone. Adding to the unfortunate situation, the thief reportedly used the woman's Venmo account to transfer $2,500 to his own account. According to the information provided by El Monte Police Department, this incident occurred at a gas station situated near the junction of Gravy Avenue and Durfee Avenue on September 21st. So far, no arrests have been made in connection with this break-in. In response to this incident, the authorities are now issuing a warning to the general public, emphasizing the importance of remaining vigilant and ensuring that car doors are locked at all times. Stephanie Sikal, NTD News, El Monte.
Uber is partnering with taxis in Southern California. The goal is to increase the supply of taxis to help the industry recover from the pandemic.
Uber said on Tuesday it is partnering with Los Angeles Yellow Cab and its affiliates to increase the supply of taxis on the ride-hailing giant's platform. Uber has been securing similar partnerships in global markets, including Europe and Asia, over the last 2 years. This deepens its ties with the private taxi industry that was impacted by the rise of ride-hailing startups more than a decade ago. Under the new partnership, taxis associated with LA Yellow Cab and its 5 partner fleets will get bookings through the Uber app. Together, they will add up to 1,200 cabs to the Uber platform. Uber has staged a strong post-pandemic recovery thanks to a rebound in inner-city travel and higher market penetration than its closest rival, Lyft. William Rouse, CEO of Los Angeles Yellow Cab, said, "We anticipate that this partnership will have a positive impact for our driver owners as the pandemic recovery continues. When customers request a ride with UberX, they might get matched with a taxi and will have the option to decline or get rematched with a ride that is not a taxi. UberX fares will apply to these rides."
That's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Ganjin World, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.